Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we had resistance up at 44.5 to 46. ES ended up failing and rejecting a few ticks ahead of that. And overall, the market just balanced in the overnight session. So at this point, heading into the day, we know that there really isn't any major economic catalyst that can result in a big failure of yesterday's move. So with that idea, in mind, the main expectation for today is for the market to be a bit more two-sided as it digests and consolidates yesterday's move. Now, some of that has already happened in the overnight session, and lately we've seen that, even in the overnight, we're getting some really decent movement, and some of the key inflection points are already tested by the time the U.S. session starts. So, that means we just have to be a little bit more cautious and careful in the day session when the market is approaching a support or resistance zone, because some of them have already been tested. So, off the open, the market is really balanced in this range between pre-market support, pre-market resistance. A breakout above it would just confirm yesterday's upside strength, and it would bring the 43.5 to 45.5 zone into play, with potential to test 48 quarter to 50 quarter, and eventually even 53.75 to 55.75. On the downside, a break below 31 to 32 would bring the 26 to 28 support into play. That's pretty decent support from yesterday's session, the prior VPOC, and it's certainly an area where buyers can be active, and then we can go right back up to 36.5, 38.5, and even start a move up towards the upper resistance zones at 43.5 to 45.5 and beyond. So, off the open, we are going to be watching which way the market is leaning in relation to the pre-market support and pre-market resistance. Break below pre-market support would be a break below the overnight balance. So, that could result in some acceleration down into 26.28. But then the idea is that, 26 to 28 is a spot where we expect responsive buyers to be active on first test. And then from there, as long as we can get back above 31.32 relatively quickly, it would tell us that the market has found some buyers down there, and then we can go to the other side of the balance above 36.5 to 38.5. The short-term bias is bullish at this point, especially if we hold above 26 to 28. In the event of a break below initial support, we have some minor support at 22.5. That was really the swing low from yesterday around noon when the market started heading higher and breaking out. So we have a support level at 22.5. Below that, 18 to 20 is a spot where buyers can be active. And again, it's a spot where we plan on trading it long. First test if the market even gets down there. And finally, 12.75 to 14.75 is really the last spot where buyers can defend and still maintain the bullish bias that was really confirmed and established yesterday. So on the downside, not expecting it to go all the way down there, but this market has been really volatile, and we've seen a lot of big moves, materialize even on days where there really isn't any, economic catalyst to really drive the market, and it would simply be consolidation, even if we went down to 18 to 20. So, it wouldn't really invalidate the upside break just yet. But the expectation is that the market will not go all the way down to 18 to 20, and that 26 to 28 ideally caps the downside, and then from there we can head higher, or we just hold this balance, right? We don't even go to 26, 28, and then we start heading higher, breaking out, and going up towards 43 half, 45 half, 48 quarter, 50 quarter, 53.75 to 55.75. The initial resistance zone is better served as a profit target at this point. The 48 quarter to 50 quarter is a spot where we could see some rejection first test, and that could offer a short setup on first test as long as the internals are not screaming higher and the momentum is not firmly on the upside like yesterday. So today we're not expecting a repeat of yesterday. The idea is it's going to be a bit more two-sided today. So if you're in a good long position and it's hitting resistance, it is a good idea to take that profit and then look for the next trade. So, the main upside objective above 36.5 to 38.5 is 43.5 to 45.5. That's a good target. We could see some rejection there, but, it's not really the highest odds resistance zone where the market can fail. 48 quarter to 50 quarter is better. That's essentially where the large liquidation move started about a week or so ago. And above that 53.75 to 55.75 is another spot where we could see a better sell response. And finally, if the market can work through all those zones, 59 to 61 is a strong resistance zone. And there's a big high volume node there, and that's a spot where the upside could definitely be capped by 59 to 61 if we even get there. So today, expecting a narrower range than yesterday. That doesn't mean it's going to be a narrow range in absolute terms. It's all relative. So today we could still quite easily get a 20-point range or even a 25-point range, but it would just be narrow in relation to yesterday because we are running on lighter volume today. So about a 20-point range somewhere around there would be pretty normal for the day session today. So that means that we could quite easily just range between pre-market support and up towards the 51 area, or if we pull back to 26.28, then we could still go up to 48 quarter to 50 quarter. So those were the main thoughts today off the open. Let's just keep an eye on momentum, see which side is really more dominant. So far, the buyers are more dominant, and we just want to be a bit careful on the short side and focus more on long setups, especially as long as we're holding 31.32 or we're trading above 36.5 to 38.5. That would confirm the buy side in control and bring those upper areas into play. So those are the main thoughts. Let's see how well the buyers can hold up after yesterday's strong move. Today's really the test of that move, and we'll take it from there.